Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists physicians with employment contract issues. Today, I'm going to talk about what is an evergreen physician contract. Um, in brief, an evergreen contract simply means that the contract will continuously, automatically renew for periods of time and will just keep going forever until one party terminates the agreement. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. So let's just start with what is a term of a contract. So usually there'll be some specific length to the initial part of a contract. Somewhere between 1 to 3 years is kind of a normal length. Now, almost all contracts will not be a fixed term, meaning it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then it stops. Almost all physician contracts will say the initial term is 2 or 3 years, and then it will automatically renew for 1 year successive terms after that until terminated, in the way that the contract allows termination. So there's usually 3 ways a contract can be terminated. I guess 4. If there is just a fixed term and there's no automatic renewal, if the contract ends and the parties don't come to, a new agreement, contract ends. Another way it could be terminated is through mutual agreement. Another way would be with cause. So meaning if one party breached the agreement and then didn't fix that breach at some point, then one of the parties can terminate the agreement with cause, and usually that could be immediately. And then the last would be without cause termination. And this is by far the most common way that contracts are terminated. And it just simply means without cause means either party can terminate the agreement for any reason with a certain amount of notice to the other party. In most instances, it's between 60 to 90 days. So the contract will state, let's just say the physician's unhappy, or maybe they have a better job, or they want to move back for family reasons. They would simply give written notice to the employer that just says, I'm terminating the contract without cause. I'm providing you with the 90 days notice as required in the contract. My last day of work will be this date. And then they work out the 90 days and then they leave. So those are the different ways you can terminate a contract. Now, what I'm seeing more and more is instead of there being an initial term, it just continues on forever unless terminated by either party. So they don't even have an initial term listed. Is that a problem? No. As long as there's some kind of without cause termination provision in the contract, I mean, you could think of it as it's only a 90-day contract. Now, that's not how it works, in reality. But if it is an evergreen contract with no fixed term, it just continues on forever until it's terminated. That's fine as long as you do have the ability to give without cause termination. If I see a physician contract without some kind of without cause termination clause, it's an enormous red flag, and I would never, ever have a physician sign a contract like that. Now, if they're a J1, it's a 3-year requirement. So in that scenario, many states will prohibit there being any kind of without cause termination clause in a contract. But for the vast majority of physicians, it needs to be in there. I mean, if you're really unhappy with an employer, and let's just say there's a 2 or 3 year term, no one's going to want to stick out an employment scenario where they're just very unhappy for 2 or 3 years. It just doesn't make sense. Another consideration is most of the time, if the physician is going to receive some kind of bonus, so either relocation assistance, a signing bonus, student loan repayment, there's going to be some period of time that they're going to be required to work for the employer, or they're going to have to pay back a portion of that bonus. So in this case, let's say there's a 3-year initial term, and then the physician received a $30,000 signing bonus. The employer may say, all right, 1/3 of that bonus is forgiven every year until the end of the 3 years. And then at that point, you don't owe us anything back if you were to leave. Same goes for the other bonuses. It could be monthly repayment, quarterly repayment, yearly repayment. For the physician, it's better if it's monthly, because if you were to leave in the middle of a year and it was yearly forgiveness, then you're losing out on an entire year of forgiveness. Whereas if it's monthly, you'll get forgiven all the way up until whenever you ultimately leave the job. So evergreen contracts simply go on forever until terminated by the parties in whatever mechanism they choose. Either mutual termination, without cause termination, or for cause termination. Is one better than another? I don't really think there is, as long as you can get out of the contract without cause at any time. But every contract's different, so you kind of have to take into context the entire arrangement to determine if it's a good opportunity or not. If you have any questions, you can always contact my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us through our website, chellelaw.com. That's CHELLE law.com. I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.